The story of the Russian Revolution dates back to the late 19th century, when Russia pursued modernization under state control. Large industrial cities grew, and an industrial working class emerged. Despite the spread of liberal and socialist ideologies, Russia remained under the autocratic rule of the Tsar and maintained an agriculture-based economy. As the Russo-Japanese War took a turn for the worse, economic hardships deepened and public discontent grew. In 1905, a massive demonstration demanding reforms broke out in St. Petersburg. Nicholas II's troops mercilessly fired upon the peaceful demonstrators, leading to many casualties. This event, later known as Bloody Sunday, sparked revolutionary fervor throughout Russia. Your Majesty, the workers and residents of St. Petersburg come to you, seeking justice and protection for their families, children, and elderly parents. Please allow all classes and social groups to elect representatives and grant equal voting rights to all. This petition from St. Petersburg's workers reflects their desperate plea for change. As revolutionary forces gained strength, Nicholas II attempted to appease opposition by promising civil liberties, including freedom of speech, press, and assembly, as well as legislative powers for the Duma. However, these reforms yielded little actual progress, and the Tsarist autocracy continued. As time passed, Russia entered World War I in 1914 as part of the Allied powers, but suffered continuous defeats. The prolonged war and severe shortages of essential goods further worsened the people's suffering. By 1917, workers in St. Petersburg took to the streets, demanding an end to food shortages, war, and autocratic rule. Even soldiers joined the protests, forming Soviets, workers' and soldiers' councils, and launching the March Revolution, February Revolution, in the Julian calendar, which led to the abdication of the Tsar and the establishment of a provisional government. However, the provisional government failed to implement reforms and insisted on continuing the war, further alienating the revolutionaries. Bolshevik leader Lenin called for an immediate end to the war and demanded that all power be transferred to the Soviets. We must oppose imperialist war, achieve immediate peace, and expand Soviet power. We reject parliamentary republics and must establish a Soviet republic. We must confiscate land from landlords and nationalize it. The Soviets must control production and distribution. Returning from exile in Switzerland on April 3, 1917, Lenin delivered a speech advocating for a socialist revolution. He soon announced the tasks of the proletariat in the revolution, which became the foundation for the Bolshevik strategy and had a significant influence on the November Revolution. October Revolution in the Julian calendar. Finally, in November 1917, the Bolsheviks led an armed uprising, dismantling the provisional government and establishing a Soviet government. After the revolution, the Bolsheviks dissolved the elected parliament and declared one-party rule under the Communist Party. Lenin withdrew Russia from World War I by signing the Treaty of Brest-Litovsk with Germany. He then pursued socialist reforms, nationalizing land and industries. However, civil war broke out as counter-revolutionary forces resisted, and rapid nationalization led to economic turmoil. To stabilize the economy, Lenin introduced the new economic policy net, incorporating elements of a market economy. In 1922, after consolidating power and integrating surrounding territories, the Bolsheviks officially established the Union of Soviet Socialist Republics USSR. After Lenin's death, Stalin rose to power, launching the 5-year plans to develop heavy industry and implement agricultural collectivization, transforming the Soviet economy. These policies rapidly industrialized the Soviet Union, making it a global industrial power. However, politically, an authoritarian dictatorship emerged, and citizens faced severe suppression of personal freedoms. The Russian Revolution began as a movement against autocratic rule and aimed to build a society based on equality. However, as power became centralized, the original ideals of the revolution were overshadowed by a rigid authoritarian system. Nevertheless, the revolution had a profound impact on world history, spreading socialist ideology and shaping global politics for decades to come.